We can practice right now and we can practice all day long. And the idea is that we start making letting go not something abstract and not something spiritual, but something quite simple, something quite accessible. And with that, let's actually take a moment to just center ourselves and just come shift from the head to the heart, which is the way we always start our morning practices. So let's take a moment to do that. Very nice. The simple shift from the head to the heart is always available to us. At any time in the day, just to shift from the head, thinking, to just being, feeling and being. This is always available to us. Another way of saying this is shift from the head to the heart, and shift from the heart to the whole body, and shift from the whole body to the space surrounding us, and thinking and feeling and just being. So now I'm going to share with you a practice on letting go. And once you get a hang of this, you'll find that it has a momentum of its own. Just like accumulating and holding on has a momentum of its own, letting go also has a momentum of its own. And this is something we will discover as we do this practice today. So just a few things I want to say before we get started. Letting go is another way of saying entering the flow. Letting go of what? Letting go of things that we are holding on tight to. Past, future, and ideas about how the present should be, how I should be, you should be, and the world should be. And the world is not here to always match our ideas. Sometimes it will, and maybe a lot of the time it won't. So the extent of holding on tight is very much correlated with the extent of our suffering. One of my teachers used to walk around the monastery, and instead of asking people, how do you do? He would ask them, how are you suffering today? And some of the monks would say, Ajahn, I am suffering today. And he'd look with a lot of compassion and he'd say, you must be holding on to something. You must be holding on to something. In other words, suffering only comes when you hold on tight. And then he said something really interesting. He'd say, step over here where it's always cool. Step over here where it's always cool. What is here? Here is here. Now. So another word for letting go is being in the now, being present. Because when you're truly present, you have automatically let go of the past, of the future, and of ideas about the present. This is what it means to be truly present. So letting go is very much connected to presence and the present moment. So many years back, I went for a meditation course, a Vipassana meditation course. And in this meditation course, they invited us to be really present, not only present, but to be present in a special way throughout the entire 10 days. Special way is not to give up, not to hold on tightly to things. So from there, this practice, which at first was, I must say, incredibly hard, because the mind always wants to think of something or the other all the time. But to be really in touch with the now, and to be in touch with the changing nature of the now, to be in touch with the pulsing, vibrating, changing, flowing nature. All right, I'm wondering if you're back. I think we're back. So let's continue. Practicing in this way for a long time, I'm going to share with you the consolidation that happened, the integration that happened, and the way I understand letting go at this time, the practice of letting go. So I like to use the image of a soda bottle, right? So So soda water, the fizzy water. You could even think of Coke or anything like that. It's fizzy water bottle, and when you open the cap, or uncap it, then it starts to fizz. It starts to bubble, and the bubbles keep on coming and coming and coming. And without any effort, the bubbles keep on rising and they keep on liberating themselves. Keep on rising, keep on liberating. So the idea is to look upon ourselves also like a bottle of soda, or you could even say Coke or Pepsi or whatever you like. And you have you open the can or you open the bottle. Nice to think of it as pouring it into a glass. You can see very clearly. And the bubbles just keep on rising, seemingly from nowhere. The bubbles just keep on rising and then liberating themselves constantly. This keeps on going on. So now let's do this practice, all right? So let's not talk too much. Let's just get into the practice. So I want you to imagine yourself as that bottle of soda and bubbles that are rising. Bubbles are arising and passing away, arising and passing away. What are these bubbles? What is arising and passing away? Anything that was stuck is naturally arising and passing away. You could imagine this if that helps, or you could feel it because it's happening anyway. Life is constantly bubbling, changing, fizzing. It's never really constant. So to notice the arising and passing away in this very moment, and it's happening naturally with no real effort. It's happening just arising and passing away, and coming into that flow of sensing the arising and passing away in this very moment. So experience this. You can close your eyes if you like. If you want to keep them open, that's also fine. And from deep inside your being, bubbles are arising and passing away. Bubbles of past conditioning. You don't have to understand this. It's just constantly happening. Every single moment, bubbles are arising and passing away, just like a bottle of soda. Bubbles are arising and passing away. And the bubbles are just constantly arising and passing away. And be in touch with the felt sense, the felt perception, the feeling of being. And we're not trying to change it, we're not trying to make it bubble faster or slower. We're not trying to understand what these bubbles are. They just are what they are. And we are in touch with the flow of life in this moment. And from deep inside the body, deep inside the emotional body, deep inside the mental body, a natural purification, a natural release is happening. And this practice is about intensity. Intensity just means continuity. So just stay with this idea of bubbles arising and passing away, moment by moment, like soda water, like sparkling water. The beautiful teaching of the Buddhas, I'll say it in the Pali language. Aniccavat sankhara nirujhanti te samavupada upasamo sukho. Upajitva nirujhanti te samvupasamo sukho. Impermanent are all conditioned things, by their very nature arising and passing away, arising and passing away. Upajitva, having arisen, nirujhanti, they pass away. And in that there is happiness. What a unique happiness. Nothing has to be done. Just observing these bubbles arising and passing away, arising and passing away from deep inside the being. And we are in touch with the impermanent nature of life, the changing nature of life, the flowing nature of life. Not just conceptually, but experientially. We are in the flow, sensing the flow, one with that flow. If you're doing this for the first time, I can understand if it's not too clear. Just be patient with it. It's something that I've been practicing for a very, very long time, so it comes quite naturally to me. But just keep coming back to that perception of soda water and bubbles arising. And from deep inside the being, moment by moment, bubbles are arising. If you need to imagine it, that's also fine. And then start to sense it, really start to feel it. It's like you're giving permission to your deeper mind. It's okay to let go. And this is actually the process of purification. This is actually the process of liberation. Because moment by moment, you're not adding anything. You're allowing whatever is there to just evaporate. You're not adding anything new. And when we go for these long meditation courses, our teacher would encourage us, sampajanya narinchati. Sampajanya narinchati, which means recognizing the arising and passing away of all phenomena without any gap. So moment by moment by moment, arising and passing away, arising and passing away. Sampajanya narinchati. Don't lose it for even a moment. In other words, let this bubbling keep on happening, moment by moment by moment, naturally happen. And rest in it. This is the taste of purification. You might be feeling pleasant or unpleasant. Life may be flowing smoothly or really uncomfortably. People may be on your side or against you. However, when you're in touch with this flow, with the arising and passing, with the bubbling nature of reality, there has to be a taste of purification. Something deep in you recognizes, yes, yes. And an ancient thirst begins to be quenched. Because for once, instead of accumulating, adding, holding on to, manipulating, there is an unraveling, a releasing, uncoiling, unshackling. And I don't know if you've tried this, but in a bottle of soda or maybe Coke, the whole process accelerates. So let's imagine we've put that pinch of salt into your process and allow the whole process to deepen and widen and accelerate and go from a cellular level to an atomic level. In other words, immerse yourself even more deeply into this flow. Bubbles are rising and passing away. Sometimes we sweep a lot of things under the carpet. Thoughts, emotions, reactions that we don't want to deal with. We so-called sweep them under the carpet, but of course they're still there. And in this process, things may start emerging. Suppressed emotions may start emerging. Old traumas might start emerging. And yet it's a really healthy process. It's a really safe process. Because all you're allowing is for it to naturally uncurl itself, unravel itself, liberate itself, just bubble away. So all we have to do is not get lost in our stories and stay with that bubbling, changing nature of reality. And what's happening is you're developing the capacity to directly experience change, not as a concept, not as an idea, but as actuality, arising and passing away, arising and passing away, like bubbles in sparkling water, in soda water. And after a while, major chunks will bubble away. Your idea of who you think you are will start to bubble away. your memory of your body will start to bubble away. You're not losing your mind, you're not losing yourself. You're actually coming back to who you really are. Beyond ideas and concepts and memories. Pristine clarity. Pristine clarity. Can you stay with this bubbling nature reality for 10 seconds without any distraction? Let's do 10 more seconds. Let's do 10 more seconds. When I began meditating, I was so afflicted by the distracted mind, by the restless body, by the unruly emotions. And no matter how I tried, it seemed there was no escaping it. I felt trapped. And I struggled in my practice. And the teacher kept saying, it's impermanent, it's changing, it's impermanent, it's changing. But no matter how many times I told myself it's impermanent, it's changing, it didn't seem to help. And then one of my teachers was so compassionate and clarified the meaning of impermanence and change. He said to me, it's not about thinking that it's changing. It's about directly experiencing the changing nature of reality. And I must say that is perhaps one of the most important things I've learned in my life. I call it the direct experience of change. Not the idea of change, not cute things like this too shall pass, but the felt perception of the arising and passing away. Udayabhyayam, Udayabhyayam, arising and passing away. This is liberating, this is purifying. And this gives you a confidence beyond all doubts. No one has to confirm anything to you, validate anything for you. The Buddha doesn't have to appear from the sky and tell you, you're on the right path, my son or my daughter. You just know. You just know that this is the path of liberation. This is the process of liberation. So the inner light, the light of our heart begins to shine, and this unshakable clarity appears. Aniccavat sankhara upadavaya dhammino uppajjitva nirujjanti te samavupasamo sukho. Aniccavat sankhara upadavaya dhammino uppajjitva nirujjanti te samavupasamo sukho. Aniccavat sankhara upadavaya dhammino uppajjitva nirujjanti te samavupasamo sukho. All conditioned things are of the nature of arising and passing away. Upadavaya dhammino, their nature is to arise and pass away. Having arisen, let them pass away. Allow them to pass away. See them passing away. Know them passing away. And in their passing away, in their coming to stillness, there is peace. There is happiness. You know, if you keep that soda water out long enough, the bubbles will slow down. The bubbles will stop coming. So as we allow this process to complete itself, and it will complete itself when it has to complete itself, we will come to an underlying stillness beyond all comings and goings. And that is true happiness. That is true peace. Nitya Shanti. Unchanging, unaffected, primordial peace. And that is our true inheritance. All right, so I think we've come to the end of our time today. But the process continues. And keep returning to this simple idea of soda water bubbling, and keep connecting with this idea of letting go, which is actually more than an idea, it's a process. And as you get an intuitive feel for this process, you will have, you will not let yourself suffer. You will recognize very clearly what suffering feels like, what resistance feels like, and what non-resistance is like, what letting go is like. And this will become a living stream of intelligence, a living stream that you can rely on and come back to and rest in your life. It's not even your life, it's just life living life. And this is the foundation of true love. Somebody asked my teacher, how come you're so loving? How come, when we come into your presence, we feel like we're sitting next to a warm sun of love? It's so palpable, we can feel it. And my teacher simply smiled and said, when you understand the changing nature of things, the impermanent nature of things, then that kind of love is natural. So what a unique answer. The deep understanding of impermanence and change and the arising and passing away of phenomena. This is the foundation of true love, of unconditional love. So this is awareness, and this is love, and this is compassion. And one of the ways to access this awareness and love and compassion is soda water. All right, lots of love, and have a beautiful day.